everybody, Realm Builder Guy here, and welcome back to Middle Earth on Crusader Kings 3, that's right. Continuing today with the Kingdom of Rohan in the Riddermark. So thank you again for everybody that's been watching, that watched episode 1, left your comments and thoughts. It was really interesting to see what everybody thought about this mod, the visuals behind it, and the work put into it. I think overwhelmingly, the response was, it looks amazing. The detail is great. Italian Spartacus also did a great review of it as well, and I think he said it may be the best Middle Earth or Lord of the Rings mod out there for any game. And I'm tending to agree with him, even though I have a lot of love for Divide and Conquer, for Medieval 2 Total War, which I do recommend you to check out. It's the only way I play Medieval 2 anymore is with that mod. It's more of a warfare mod. This is obviously a little bit more of a diplomatic mod and game as such. There was also a comment that I found interesting where they said that even though, you know, the work and the look and everything is great, but it's a little bit flawed because Crusader Kings 3 is more about intrigue, politics, alliances, and marriage rather than warfare. Warfare is obviously a key component of Crusader Kings 3, but it's not the main focus, whereas in a Total War game, well, it's in the name. That's the main focus of the game. That's one of the core key mechanics. And I do agree with that. I mean, Mordor, Sauron isn't going to go around marrying off his daughters, his non-existent children, to form alliances and expand his reach. Is going to be through conquest, which, of course, if you boil down Crusader Kings 3 and you watch time lapses, especially in the 867 start, you do see a lot of the conquest wars. Gondor, on the other hand, you know, I mean, it's the key component here is, I think, Umbar, the king of Umbar, would be an interesting one to play to rebuild the Númenórean throne, and the fact that, you know, he has a lot of these claims, including High Kingdom of Anadune, which is, of course, that entire region down there. So it does make for an interesting addition to the game where you can kind of play that. And maybe if you want to play a very CK3-like game, you start down here, or with the Haradrim, or even over here in this region, the Dunlands and so on. Once elves come in, which I believe would be the next major update, like in 3.0, so you'd probably add the elves expanded to this map and in this map. I would love, obviously, the Shire as well. This will be added at some point. Angmar. So it does add that element. I could see where those comments are coming from in terms of this, that CK3 might not be canon true to Lord of the Rings and the way that universe played out according to Tolkien. And I see that. I hear that, and to a certain degree, I do agree with that. I think one of the points was if this would have been started in a significantly earlier start date, or right after the War of the Rings, to kind of create a sandbox Middle-earth world, then maybe that would work better with CK3. I do believe there is the sandbox nature of this now. You're well ahead of the War of the Rings. Obviously, you know, we showed that Eowyn and Eomer are still kids at this point, and you're quite a ways away from when Frodo actually starts his epic journey from the Shire down to Mordor. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments on this general discussion. Is CK3 the right game mechanic to feature Middle-earth and the Lord of the Rings time period? I mean, maybe they will add other start dates in future. Who knows? I think the agreement was that Game of Thrones is probably perfect for CK3, and it makes sense. I mean, CK2, towards the end, that was the only way I played CK2 was with the Game of Thrones mod. I believe that I think it's in the works, probably is in the works for Crusader Kings 3. It's a ton of work that has to go into it. And that does lend itself very well to the Crusader Kings 3 game mechanics because, of course, George R.R. Martin built the world and that entire storyline of the Song of Fire and Ice inspired by the Wars of the Roses, which of course is very CK3, intrigue, war, marriage alliances, and all that kind of stuff, shifting alliances. And that works with CK3 exceptionally well. Once that mod comes out, you better believe it, I'm going to cover it. The Song of Fire and Ice is one of my all-time favorite book series. I am getting way too old waiting for the next book. It really bugs me. So that's why in the meantime I'm reading Abercrombie as well as Sanderson. There is also, of course, a mod out there that looks at the Way of Kings, the Way of Kings mod. I will look in that, and I'm curious to see if Crusader Kings 3 really works with that world mechanically. I'm not as well versed. I'm still slogging my way through the Way of Kings, book 1 in that series. So anyway, I digress. So what's going to happen now? That's an interesting discussion. I would really like to see your thoughts here. Now, of course, in the first episode is kind of just a general overview, and we expanded up here. I think we're going to continue our expansion into this region. I think we already looked at this one that we cannot do anything here, mainly because of the feudal obligations and so on, different culture. Let's see, who else do we have up here? Bartor, we can't add him. Trying to see if there's anybody else here that we could offer a vassalage to just kind of add them in. Now, these guys, of course, we can't. If there anybody else, no, it's not looking like it. I mean, a lot of these people just really do not like us in the slightest. So the goal here will be, now the Fey Court we will leave. The goal here will be to go after, not the Leofring or the Fey Court, but really to go after the Withered Court, which is an evil faith to us, and expand in that direction. Now, these guys are Rohirric, and they are Leofring, so they're kind of adjacent to us, kind of akin to us, so we're not going to try to conquer them. But conquering these lands and expanding the Rittermark in that direction, I think, is the right way to go. Keeping an eye on Gondor to the south, of course, at all times. Not worried about Gondor, more worried about their war with Mordor. And then, of course, out into this region where we are working on claims to expand out this way and become just a very powerful, nicely defensible realm. So that's where we were. We were going to move our rally points to up here so that we can quickly move in here. Now, as far as other graphics that I didn't show last time, of course, we can see Edoras right here. Looks quite nice, I have to say. They've done an absolutely phenomenal job with this mod, graphically as well. I'm really looking forward to like Fangorn Forest and more expanding the Misty Mountains, the addition of elves and dwarves in the Shire. It'll all be there, and I'm really looking forward to it. All right, I still haven't figured out who. Oh, Chief Lagberg of Zaragost. Zaragost. Let's see. Can we find Zaragost? All right, so I found Chief Lagbug of Zaragost, an Uruk-hai here in the heart of Mordor. So, yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. Even though I was curious as to his prowess. Prowess of 13. He's a cannibal, of course, and an overseer. I believe they're all cannibals. Could that be? No, not all of them, but he definitely is. But going on hand-to-hand combats, of course, we got prowess of 43. It could work to just kill him, but why? Why? There's no reason. There's no reason for that at this point. Instead, we will look here. Declare a war. Let's see. We can just do a holy war for the county. We definitely have the right amount of piety. They have 15 soldiers. I mean, this kind of stuff is a little bit extremely easy. Now, I was told that the prediction has been turned off in the in this mod, which is interesting. You don't quite know. I mean, here we know. I mean, we know we're gonna. They have 25 soldiers. This is going to all go relatively quickly. We'll have this in 6 months. That's a nice little holdings graphic there. That looks fantastic. Expanding our finances as well. You can see here the font they're using, it's a little off. So if they can somehow work on that, that would be great, because we can't quite tell where we are financially there. You can call your allied to the war. I'm not going to do that. Create East Lordship of Rohan. Of course, we can't do that. And we have a lot of people we can declare war on here, but we are not focused on that. Instead, we're just going to finish this here and then move on. To the perceptive Theoden. I have prowled through documents both ancient and of less certain provenance. I have finally enough material to make the case a rightful lord of the chiefdom of Erin. It'll cost us 75 gold. All of Dathaba will be mine. Dathaba is that entire region, but we don't have the money, so I'm just going to have to not do that at this time. It's a little frustrating, but, you know, so be it. Strategical impasse. I am sitting around the table with Second Marshal Isengard and First Marshal Theodred, discussing our strategy for the ongoing war. Isengard bangs his fist on the table and loudly proclaims we should charge the enemy directly and crush them with the sheer might of our armies, while Theodred sits back and patiently advocates for us to secure critical locations and wait for the enemy to come to us instead. I know how to employ both strategies, so we're going to do that. Okay, so we have won the siege and won the war here. So now that is part of our territory. Now let's look over here. We have a raiding party that we will see if we can send our Rohirrim, that for some reason Theoden is leading, which I would not want. So we're going to change that to Second Marshal Eomund instead. So Eamond is going to lead the army, and we're going to head all the way across the Rittermark and take on those raiders from Dunland. Well, the raiders have left, so we're just going to disband our military, conserve some money. We need to build up our finances. That's something we definitely need to do. We've got low county control in the eastern wall, so we will, of course, head over to our council and send Theodred out to the eastern wall to increase our level of control there. Rest for the weary. Sweaty, tired, and in need of food, a long day of training with the troops is coming to an end. As we search for a place to camp, we spot an old and abandoned castle in the distance. Laughing, I declare, that is where we make our camp tonight. The sun is setting, and with every step towards the ruin, it looks more ominous. Before long, the soldiers are whispering about ghosts. Let's venture inside. I am sure there's treasure to be found. Let us raise the tents outside. Time to rest. He's not exactly cautious. He's gregarious, compassionate. He's brave. So we're going to go in there. A brave man knows no fear. Darkness, dampness, and desolation reign inside the castle, and all traces of life are gone. Peering up decaying stairs, I spot what might be the remnants of lush tapestries and old paintings. Looking down spiraling steps, I see only darkness reaching far down into the ground underneath the castle. Let's see. 99% chance, faced fears. 0% chance, lose dread and gain stress. Let's see, faced fears for 10 years, so prowess goes up and stress gain drops by 10%. We search the upper floors. So that could bring in some money, and we're going to do that, and we get 90 gold. A nice bonus there. So as we look over here towards Isengard, they are at war with the High Chieftain. It looks like he has now converted to the Cult of the Lidless Eye, so Saruman has turned towards the towards the dark side of the Forth, towards Sauron. Very interesting, and they are conquering the neighboring lands. So this is definitely something we need to keep an eye on. Right now, it's just looking at their soldiers. This could be one. Oh, Eomund has died. One of our counselors has died. The way of the mace, the endless clash of metal on metal, the chafing of armor, the sting of sweat. It is a dance that is as familiar as it is exhausting. To lift my mace, attack, dodge, defend, and repeat. Maybe it would do me good to practice my skills with another weapon. Me and my trusted mace will not part. Or let's end the monotony and hand me another weapon. Well, you know, why change at this age, right? To the Preceptor Theater, I've prowled through the documents, etc., etc. So see it done. Now we have the claim to go to war here for that. Now we could also just do the Holy War, but I do like the claims that we have. Do it a different way. Isengard at this point, we could declare a war for the county. They are vastly inferior to us. Oh, my sister, Theodwyn, has died. So Theodwyn, go to Theodwyn. She is, of course, the mother of Eowyn and Eomer, who is now the second marshal. So that's something to. It's an interesting one. It's nice to see them on the board properly. So the question is, do we continue our expansion to the east? Or do we now look at Isengard, knowing how strong they are? Okay, we need a new steward. Stewardship. Let's do Mayor Eldred. Put him in charge. Available perks. Soldiers of lesser fortune. Mercenary higher cost goes down. Controlled territory defender. Advantage +5. Yes, we will do that one right there. So yeah, the decision, of course, now being what direction do we go with this? I do want to change something, though. On our council, I want to focus on development. And we're going to focus on development, of course, in Edoras itself. We look at Edoras as our direct holding. The Aldberg is our direct holding. Cliven and Floodwind as well. Then, let's see, they're at war here. Oh, they're being raided by South, what is it called? South Undeep. So yeah, strategically, now would be the time to strike against Isengard. Isengard themselves are at war with their neighbors before they become too powerful. Now that we have found out that Saruman is no longer our friend, I think that would probably be the best course of action. But to do that, we definitely need some of these here mangonels. Ugh, I hate it when that happens. Some mangonels, right? There we go. Let's add 1 regiment of mangonels, or double it up. Increasing it to size 2. You know, we're just going to leave it with our current ones right now, because it just makes a huge difference. Of course, to take Isengard, you know, we have to take Orthanc, and that's going to be quite the task. I mean, as castle level 4, you inherited the city of Eastwall from Mayor Helm of Eastwall. Okay, so you should grant Eastwall to someone. Grant to a low noble. There you go. That's fine. So Orthanc itself, so it's castle, fort level +13. I mean, that's quite the stout one. It might be worth adding another say, regiment. More mangonels. More mangonels. Let's go in here. Actually, let's bump that up. We'll need as many of those as possible to take Isengard. I mean, siege warfare will be a thing. We'll be curious to keep an eye on how powerful they get with time. Neighboring ruler won a war. So Denethor has won a war in Gondor. So they are still strong down here. There's no war yet going on. Gondor is now at peace. Mordor is at war, defending against Chief Bolg. Interesting. So it's an internal, oddly internal one. They are attacking. He's attacking Sauron. Independence War, maybe? Against the tyranny of... I mean, it's Sauron. I don't... See, now we're looking at something where I'm not sure that would happen. I don't think the Uruk-hai would rebel against Sauron or Saruman. If anything, in the books and the movies, you could see that they are definitely loyal to a T and fearful. So Éomer has been impressed others grow around, so he is now generous. Her nephew has been released. So going into Isengard is something I would like to do. I have been warned that at some point they get special soldiers, and then things get really interesting. But I want to wait till our siege equipment is completely done. Once that's completely done, I think then we can look at taking Isengard. Isengard is still in this war. I mean, even if they add... How many troops do we have here? It's hardly any... It won't give them that much of an advantage. Let's move the rally point to right over here. That way we're on the right side of the River Isen. And we can go in and declare a war, holy war for the duchy. And we will destroy Saruman. Of course, there's a good chance, I mean, who knows, maybe even Sauron will come in to help him. But we're just testing this, see what this mod all does. But I am going to have King Theoden lead this one, unless we can change it. Theodred could take over. He is the player, heir, and marshal. Now Theodred, of course, led an army and died, but Theoden would lead this one himself. So we're going to just roleplay this one as Theodred leading his own army, the first army of Riverwatch, to try to take Orthanc. Now, how long will this take? Port level is too high. Add better siege men-at-arms to finish the siege faster. So it'll take 5 years to take Orthanc. Interesting. They've made it that powerful. I mean, 5 years. Holy moly. We cannot afford to do that. Well, that was an interesting test, to say the least. Well, let's just see if we can take anything else. We can't really, because it's just a county. What if we head on over here and just take on Saruman's army, at which point now I think Mara Håkon can take over this one. So they've broken off the siege. Let's go in here and fight out this battle. But it's interesting to see that... Oh, wow. Saruman is actually leading this army. Well, if we capture Saruman, we end everything, right? Then we'll have won the war. So we didn't capture him. Well, we don't really need to siege that down, do we? I mean, the problem is now, of course, we can't take Isengard because 5 years, I mean, we'd have to add so many more mangonels to be able to do anything. But that's interesting. That's interesting how powerful they made that. Of course, we could have just this war score continuously ticking up. We park ourselves there. Go down in here, kind of chase that army. Okay, we got another battle here that we will win. Now we can take them. Oh, another battle, more coming out. We're gonna defeat them. Let's go over here and see if we can get that army to commit to battle. And who knows, maybe end the war this way. And now we're just chasing them across the landscape. So here we will now force a battle out of them, and Saruman is leading this small force. So we won the battle, but there's just not a lot of hope for anything really beyond that, because the power of Orthanc is so vast, we can't really do anything. I mean, 5 years. We can just hope for ticking war score and that we don't go bankrupt in the meantime. My Chancellor Third Marshal Dunhair has been hovering around my council meetings lately, knowing his interest in matters of leadership. Cannot help but feel that the man is waiting for me to impress him. Let's discuss methods of communication. Should greet some recruits. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so what can we do? Now, we cannot enforce our demands, of course, because there's no other option in here. We can white peace out. Your allies will spend 50 piety, and then your allies will share 100 prestige. So yeah, I mean, there's no way we can win this. Honestly, this was more a test than anything else. Getting stuck in. There was commotion among the children today. Harding was attempting to preach among his fellow youngsters and became the target of a small fight. Eowyn intervened and did what she could to protect him. So she is brave. I mean, we can continue doing this for years, but we don't have the money. Here come some more soldiers. I mean, the only hope we have is to actually capture Saruman, which is just not happening. So anyway, I think what I'm going to do here is we're just going to white peace this out. So be it, we're going to disband all and move on, all in time. So she is now patient. All right. So that was an interesting test to kind of check out the strength of Isengard. I mean, we technically lost the war-ish, but yeah, I think that gives us a little bit more of an indication of how this mod works. I think there's still work to be done. It looks fantastic. I love the way this game looks and feels. I think there's some work that might still need to be done in terms of incorporating the CK3 mechanics into Middle-earth properly. I'm going to sink more time into the mod, also off camera. Right here, we've got King Madok. Interesting. So that's a Darkness Faith of Astray. So he's a Dunlending as well. So anyway, getting distracted here by other things. May play around in different areas to kind of test some more. But that was kind of a first view of how Rohan plays. I'm not going to continue with this series at this point. I think doing 2 episodes to just kind of see the mechanics of the game. I mean, there's no way to beat Isengard. We could continue playing. If that's really what you want, then put that in the comments, and I'm more than happy to continue playing this and expanding Rohan, knowing that we just can't take Isengard at this point. It was an interesting test, if nothing else. I'm a little bit more relaxed, if you could tell, versus the Al-Andalus series, where I'm not overly relaxed. Let me know in the comments if you want this series to continue. Alternatively, we can try out a few other starts, see what those are like, or wait for this mod to expand with time. But I feel like you get a good feel for what this mod has to offer, the different options and factions and people in it. I love seeing this. I am going to play this just in my own time to kind of feel it out a little bit more. But, you know, I think these 2 episodes, each around 30 minutes, gives you an hour worth in the mod to kind of see the mechanics and how things work. Let me know if this is something you're going to be playing and your thoughts on how it's been going for you, and if you would like me to continue with this. So until next time, I'm Realm Builder Guy, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.